sword he carries. Our last line of defense will be Link.
Do not look away. You witness a king's revival and the birth of his new world.
Link! You must find me.
Hey folks, Tears of the Kingdom releases this coming week. As I upload this on Sunday evening, the 7th of May, we are officially just 5 days away from the game being out. Think back to when this sequel was announced all the way back in 2019. It is honestly crazy how far we've come from that initial announcement and everything that has happened between then and now. It feels very real now, and we will be able to play the game in less than a week. This will be my final video pre-release Tears of the Kingdom, and to end this era of pre-release videos, I'm going to go into some of my final theories and predictions for the game. On the day of release, as the clock strikes midnight here in Scotland, I will also have a video going live, as well as live streaming the first few hours when I get the game the following morning. If you want to keep up to date with all my plans, then be sure to follow me on my socials linked below. You can also join my Discord server to get involved in lots of discussions regarding the game. With all of that said, let's do this. Let's do this final pre-release Tears of the Kingdom video. Be sure to go and grab yourself a snack or drink and send them in to get featured right here. And let's get into this one. I'll be breaking this video into two sections, the theories and the predictions. We'll firstly go over 3 final theories that I am on board with, and then go over 3 final predictions for the game's contents. With a pretty fun question at the end you should stick around for. Let's get started with my first final theory going into the game. Zelda's location. The final game trailer threw a massive twist our way with Princess Zelda sitting wherever this is and calling out to Link, saying he must find her. This indicates that she isn't just chilling somewhere in Hyrule as it would seem at first glance. A very cool phrasing I've heard with this theory slash mystery is, this might not be where is Zelda, but rather when is Zelda? What time frame is she in compared to Link? For years there was a lot of time travel denying for this game, and I was a part of that, but this final trailer changed that massively. It really feels as if Zelda is in a different time frame now, and it could make a lot of sense. When she falls down this break in the floor deep below Hyrule as Ganondorf wakes up, she appears to be a goner, but if you look closely, she actually has a golden glimmer in her hand. What I believe this is the recall of the tears we saw her holding in these shots. Perhaps whilst adventuring deep below Hyrule, she already had this tear and it recalls her back in time in order to save her, or something along those lines. It's a pretty popular theory, and there are more fleshed out versions of it out there. I am on board with this being the case, and I'm extremely excited to find out exactly what's going on here. Specifically, where Zelda is. I think she's in the past. The next final theory idea I'm thinking about is the identity of these 2 new characters. The new dragon-like figure, or goat man if you're seen a goat, somehow, and this mysterious character who strikes resemblances to Princess Zelda in a few features. Who are these people? They are clearly significant characters if they had this much focus in the final game trailer and even talked. I've seen various theories and ideas as to who they are, and this is what I am thinking prior going into the game. The first new figure is definitely going to be some sort of new god. There's just a vibe about their figure and stance that makes me believe this, as well as the communication with Princess Zelda we see. They're likely someone divine, not to mention their attire being very fancy. This is more on the speculative side, but I definitely see this figure being a god of some kind, perhaps similar to how the sages work, and that could tie into the 7 tears seen on this mural, and this figure. As for the other new figure, this is a bit trickier. My mind wants to say that this is Zelda in another form, but I just can't see that actually being the case. I think this is somebody else. A probably idea that I like is it being Hylia herself, but again, I just can't see that actually being the case. For me personally, I think this is going to be somebody completely new, perhaps also a godlike figure in this world. And my final theory prediction is all about the tears. What are they? Who's been cutting onions or can't escape their emo phase? I'm all out of onions, so I know my answer. Right, anyway, what exactly are the tiers of the kingdom? We've seen several in the final game trailer, and we can get the idea that there's some sort of relic and power-up for the one who possesses them. Zelda's tier specifically actually contains the recall ability. The other tiers seen on the champions are a bit more mysterious right now, however. My personal theory, and again more speculation to be honest, is that these tiers will be some sort of ancient relic from long ago. Their origins will date back to a time frame we haven't learned about yet, and they'll all be connected to an ancient figure of each race of Hyrule, all connected again in this time frame to stop Ganondorf. Somewhat similar to how in Ocarina of Time you collected the medallions from each dungeon, but on a much cooler and expanded scale. Now for the game content's predictions. First up, and a very big thing for me, dungeons. Up until that final game trailer, I can't lie, I was still very anxious about dungeons potentially not being in the game in the sense I was expecting. But the final game trailer has given me so much more hope, and my prediction here is that dungeons in the traditional sense will be in the game. Or more so to a degree. You can't have literal traditional dungeons unless the game itself is linear, which it just simply isn't. However, what I am predicting is that there will be traditional dungeons in the sense that they are more themed around their locations, function with more puzzles, enemies, and actual challenges, but still being open air. With there being at least 7 tiers depicted, I could see there being around that many dungeons. I personally hope we get a desert, water, fire, wind, underground, and maybe even a Sky Island dungeon to play through. Those 6 themes would cover 6 of the 7 tiers, leaving room for a Ganondorf's castle or something along those lines. It really depends how big an influence they have in the game, but a Zonai dungeon would absolutely slap. I'd like to mention this idea as an interchangeable prediction with the Sky Island dungeon, but this one really relies on just how present the Zonai will be in this game. Will they be an integral part, or will it be just like Breath of the Wild, a forgotten past? Next prediction, and another massive one for me, the size of the caves and underground. As part of the hit trio, the Cave Boys, this is undoubtedly one of the most exciting parts of the game for me. I love dark and creepy areas like this, and a big favourite of mine is Blackreach from Skyrim. As well as that, Skyrim also has many caves and mini dungeons all over. It appears Tears of the Kingdom will be taking a similar approach with the sub-levels of Hyrule, and here is my final prediction. I think Tears of the Kingdom will have its own underworld. These larger areas we've seen in a few shots will act in a similar way to Blackreach or the Underground from Elden Ring. Large, open areas. They'll be fully explorable and have multiple quests, side quests, enemies, bosses, lore, and even people. I might be pushing it there, but I think these larger areas are all part of one larger underworld. As for the smaller, more individual caves we've seen, as well as the map icons for completable caves, I feel like these will be scattered all over the kingdom as their own thing and be like mini dungeons. Similar to Sheikah shrines, but in a more raw and adventurous way, rather than a pre-made trial. I think it could be possible that some of the smaller completable caves could connect to the larger areas, but honestly I don't know how well that would work. And my final prediction for the game's contents, something I haven't discussed in a little while, expanded borders of Hyrule, as in the ability to venture further out to sea and discover islands, travelling further out into the desert, and maybe even exploring the other side of the canyon marking out the landscape of Hyrule. I've talked about this as an idea for years now, as I think it would be a cool way to add even more to this world. I don't think all 3 of these will be present in the game, but I am predicting that at least one will. If I had to guess on likelihood, I'd probably say the desert expanding is the most likely, but I would happily take any of them. I feel emotional coming to the end of this video, as it is the final pre-release video I'll put out. The build up for this coming Friday dates all the way back to 2019, and so much has changed since then. Since then, I grew my channel to a size I'd never have imagined reaching, and it just keeps growing, and that is down to your support and love. I just want to say that I really appreciate all of it. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I'm extremely thankful. The time between this game being announced to be in development and now, just 5 days before it's out, I've put out many videos, learned so much, met so many awesome people, and progressed as a creator. I even reached the 100,000 subscriber milestone, which had been a goal of mine for years. All of this means the world to me, and we're going to do even more once Tears of the Kingdom is out. More videos, more discussions, more live streams, and just more everything. Anyway, those are my final predictions for the game, and as I said, here is the big question at the end. I would love to hear what yours are down below in the comments. I just realised I didn't phrase that as a question. What are your final predictions? Let me know down below. Be sure to drop a wee like down below if you enjoyed, and if you're feeling extra awesome today, then subscribe to the channel. I've got lots more Tears of the Kingdom videos on the way, including a video on release day dropping at midnight. Get hyped. A massive shout out goes to all of my channel supporters as you help to make these videos possible week in, week out, all month long, 365 days a year. If you'd like to join them and get yourself a shout upon joining, a cool badge next to your name in my comments sections, access to exclusive channel emotes if you join via YouTube, as well as your name at the end of every video, then consider supporting via the links below. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have an amazing day or night, and until the next time, which will be when Tears of the Kingdom is out, I've been Hyrule Gamer.